You're listening to the A County Down Under podcast with me, your host, Caroline McKenna. This is a podcast about being real, about the highs and lows of life. Whether you're living abroad or you're back home, there's a lesson in every episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Before we get into the podcast episode, guys, I would love if you could please do me a favour and just stop what you're doing right now and subscribe to the podcast, and make sure to give the podcast a rating at the end. It makes such a difference to where my podcast ranks in the charts. So I know so many of you listen and you just don't subscribe. So please, for me, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, and make sure to head over to my website and check out my Sunrise social communities all over the world. So if you're watching my Instagram or TikTok and dream of that life in Australia, you don't have to travel to the other side of the world to enjoy the lifestyle that we live. This podcast is proudly sponsored by Gym Plus Coffee, Ireland's #1 athleisure brand. I have been sponsored by Gym Plus Coffee for the last 4 years, and this is our 6th season of working together. If you're interested in purchasing any of their products, you can use my discount code DOWNUNDER, both online and in store all over the world. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am back with my solo episodes and a lot of your questions. Today we're looking at mindset, mentality, and dealing with the move from home. So by the time this episode airs, I will have announced some huge news, which is I am going to climb Base Camp Everest. So I have confirmed this. I'm so excited. And a lot of people ask me in my questions, how do you get your mindset to focus to do these crazy challenges? And why do you do these crazy challenges? And to be honest, this was not in my plan. I came down from Kilimanjaro and I said, no, I am not doing anything again. That was hard work. I'm done. I've done all my challenges. I've done the Wim Hof, I've done the Tony Robbins, and Kilimanjaro was the last one. But as the dust has settled, there is something really addictive about being able to push your boundaries and push your mindset to be able to achieve some of the impossible. Everest was never on my bucket list growing up, but I love to be able to challenge myself. And yeah, I've decided to book it. And the reason for it is because I feel like in times of struggle in day-to-day life, in times of things that are going on, in your own personal life, maybe there's things that are completely out of your control. When I go to those levels of fear and the unknown, I think to myself, Caroline, you've climbed Kilimanjaro, the tallest freestanding mountain in the world, one that people die on every year. You've spent a week with Wim Hof doing the impossible, almost getting hypothermia. I think I definitely did have hypothermia at one point, looking down and seeing my skin blue and still being able to hike to the top of a mountain in just a bikini in -degrees. If I can push my mindset to that, I know that I can overcome any challenge that comes my way mentally, because physically I have pushed myself to the limits. And now that the dust has settled and all of those things, I am able to come back down to earth. And I feel like maybe this is what childbirth is like for women, where you instantly forget about the tough days. And I think I've forgotten about the hard parts of Kilimanjaro, and I am now doing Base Camp Everest. So let's see where this takes us. I love to be able to push myself. I love to be able to do these challenges while I'm fit and while I'm able to do it. And I love to be able to give people that kind of motivation and mindset to know that whatever it is you're going through, just put one foot in front of the other. Just keep going. That's all you can do. So that's the big news moving into this episode. Hopefully I'll have announced it by then. I think I will. And I am bringing people with me. If you're interested in coming along to do this challenge with me, I am taking a small